Have you ever been there? You're facing something huge, a big job interview, a really tough conversation, a decision that could change everything. And on the outside, you look like you have it all together. You're projecting this image of just complete, unshakable calm. Well, today, we're talking about that calm facade and what's really hiding behind it.
You might even hear yourself saying the words, "Whatever will be, will be." It's a classic, isn't it? It's kind of our go-to phrase for pushing worry aside and seeming like you've just surrendered to fate. And you know what? It sounds so peaceful, so accepting. But let's be real for a second. What's actually happening on the inside? While you're putting on that calm face, is your mind secretly running 1,000,000 miles an hour, spiraling through 100 what-if scenarios? Is your heart just pounding in your chest? If you know that feeling, that huge gap between the outward calm and the inner chaos, then you are definitely in the right place. Turns out, there's actually a name for this. It's not just some quirky habit, it's a known psychological defense mechanism. It's called pseudo-fatalism, or you could call it false acceptance. And it's all about that massive difference between the cool, unbothered person you show the world and the absolute storm of anxiety you're living with on the inside. So where does this whole whatever attitude even come from? I mean, it's not like we wake up one day and decide to do this. This is a defense mechanism that gets built over years, and for a lot of people, it all starts in the very same place. For so many of us, the roots go right back to childhood. If you grow up in an environment that was unpredictable, maybe there was financial stress, sudden changes, or things just felt emotionally volatile, your brain learned a really powerful survival trick. Saying whatever became a shield. It was a way to brace for impact and protect yourself from the constant sting of disappointment. Psychologists have a term for this. They call it intellectualization, which is basically just a fancy way of saying we use logic to try and escape a raw, painful emotion. And this leads us right to the heart of the conflict, something psychologists call cognitive dissonance. It's this internal tug of war. On one side, you have the mask you wear, the calm things you say like, "It's out of my hands." But on the other side, you've got the internal reality, that desperate need to control everything, the spiraling fear of, what if it all goes wrong? Living in that constant battle, wow, it is just utterly exhausting. So how does this actually play out in everyday life? Let's run through 7 really common signs. And as you listen, just kind of notice which ones feel a little familiar. This is where we can start to see the pattern really clearly. First up, the 3 a.m. brain party. During the day, you convince everybody, and maybe even yourself, that you're totally fine with how things are going. But then, when the world finally gets quiet, your mind just lights up with every single anxiety you push down. The what-ifs just play on a loop. Number 2, there's that pressure around big decisions. You put on that brave face. You casually say, we'll see. But inside, you're just a bundle of tension. You can feel it physically, right? That tightness in your chest, that knot in your stomach. It's like your body is betraying the calm you're trying so hard to project. Third, and this one's a biggie, is the feeling of being completely misunderstood. People, and they usually mean well, they'll say things like, "You just need to stop overthinking," but they're only seeing that calm surface. They have absolutely no idea about the chaos happening in your head, which honestly can feel incredibly lonely. Number 4 is the physical toll. Our bodies always keep the score. All that anxiety has to go somewhere, and a lot of the time, it shows up as a racing heart, stomach problems, or just not being able to sleep. But what's the default response? To just dismiss it. Oh, it's nothing. Completely denying the link to what's going on inside. Okay, number 5. You use whatever as this kind of preemptive defense. Before you even fully go for a goal, you're already building the exit ramp. You tell yourself, hey, if this doesn't work out, who cares? But that shield that you think is protecting you from failure, it's also the very thing that stops you from ever truly giving your all. Number 6, the deep split between your public self and your private self. You can be the most chill person in the room, the life of the party, totally peaceful. But the second you're alone, that facade just shatters, and the mental storm rushes right back in. And finally, number 7. This is the ultimate proof. It doesn't actually work. If this habit of accepting everything really brought you peace, you'd feel it. But it's just a temporary fix, right? The relief is so fleeting because that deep-seated anxiety, it never really goes away. So if you recognized yourself in any of those signs, you might be thinking, okay, so what? It's just how I cope. But this isn't just a harmless habit. Over the long haul, this pattern comes with some pretty serious hidden costs. Just think about it. That constant, unaddressed anxiety, slowly turns into chronic stress, which messes with your physical health. You end up missing out on huge opportunities because that whatever voice keeps you from ever fully committing. Your relationships can become distant because you're not being truly emotionally honest. And maybe the worst part of all, you slowly start to lose trust in yourself, which just widens that gap between the person you pretend to be and the person you really are.
Now, after hearing all of that, I want to be crystal clear. This is not a life sentence. You can absolutely break this pattern. You can find genuine peace, not the fake kind, the real stuff, by taking small, deliberate steps forward.
So here are 5 concrete steps you can start with. 1. Admit it. Just say it out loud. I'm anxious inside, and that's okay. Just acknowledging it is huge. 2. Feel it. Don't push it down. Try journaling for just 5 minutes a day about what you're afraid of. 3. Act on it. Take one tiny action to reclaim your sense of control. 4. Breathe. Seriously. A simple 4-4-6 breath, that's in for 4, hold for 4, and out for 6, can instantly calm your nervous system. And 5. Share it. There is zero shame, and in fact, incredible strength in talking to a professional. And really, it all boils down to this one idea. This completely reframes the goal. See, real acceptance isn't about pretending you don't have feelings. It's about letting yourself feel them completely, acknowledging them, and then letting them go so you can actually move forward. So I'll leave you with a question, kind of a challenge. Instead of just defaulting to whatever, what is one small fear you can choose to face today? It doesn't have to be massive. It just has to be a conscious choice. A choice to engage directly with your life instead of just passively accepting a fate you secretly and deeply want to change.